We are recording, so take it away, Kelsey. I guess I should have been
All
recording.
right.
It's fine.
Well, first off, thank you so much, Amy. First off, for inviting me and all of those kind words. Like, I am a words of affirmation person to the core. So, like, anytime you say something nice about me, I'm just like, oh, like, I need warm hugs. So, thank you so much for that. Also, a side note, I put my kid to bed early because I had a team call on Sunday and it was a train wreck. So he's like not happy. He's in bed. So if you hear him on the monitor, just ignore it. But so I've been trying to figure out what exactly I want to talk about. So Amy was saying like I would be so good for empowerment. And I'm like, oh, I don't actually know what to talk about. So she was like, just share your story. So I wanted to share that. And then I kind of want to talk about what I do actively because today the universe, like Amy said, is funny. Like you were like, oh, I'm going to talk about empowerment. I'm going to share my story. And it was like a shitty day. And I don't know how many of you have had shitty days, even on your journey. You're like, I feel really good. And then all of a sudden it's like, what the fuck just happened? I'm sorry. Not sorry, cussing. You guys expect that. But it was hard. And I've had back issues. I had to help my dad shovel a grain bin. Like Harrison's been a train wreck. It's just been a hard day. So I'm like, how am I supposed to talk about something inspiring and empowering whenever I'm actually not feeling that way? And I think we get like that a lot on our journeys. So I'm going to start with my story and then kind of go into what I do to get out of that. Cause I think that's where the empowerment really comes from, is being able to get out of the hard days. So I started Beachbody I signed up December 31st of 2018. And it was 1,000% because it was the last day of the Transform 20 sale. And my best friend was like, if you're going to do this, you need to save some money. I'm like, okay. But the reason being why, so I've never worked out in my life until that day. I played volleyball in high school, but it wasn't anything like intense that I hated working out. But I also struggled with weight my whole entire life. I dieted every single day. I was a serial dieter. I tried the military diet. I tried starving myself. I actually binged and purged in high school. And whenever I started college, I gained a ton of weight, like most of us do. We gain all of the weight. And then it was like, okay, well, I'm drinking and having all this fun. Well, then my anxiety really started kicking in too. So college was a literal disaster for me. And if you know me, I am a pharmacist now. So it's a miracle I made it through school. Being in the shape I was drinking every single day. I was doing all these crazy pills, like, which I know better. Do not drink alcohol with any sorts of pills. And I was doing it like because I was trying to get skinny because I thought in my head, that's what would make me happy. So fast forward to we got married. I was still kind of acting the same way. And then we had Harrison. And like as soon as we had him, I knew like I don't know. And this is a weird part about being a mom, but a lot of people say whenever you have him, like you just fall in love automatically. And that's not how it was for me. He came out of my body and my first thought was, I want a turkey sandwich. I'm not kidding you. That was my first thought. I was starving. I thought it was cool. I had him. I didn't feel a connection. And as I still didn't feel that connection day in and day out, I felt like a really shitty mom. And I was like, why on earth would I have even wanted to be a mom if I was going to be this mom? My mom is the best mom in the whole world. Like she would do anything at the drop of the hat. She wanted to come over tonight for 20 minutes so that way I could have some time because my back was hurting me. And I'm like, Mom, I can handle it. But I wasn't living up to any expectation I was setting. I had zero clue what I was doing as a mom. And I hate to say it, but I didn't love my baby at that moment. Like in the hospital, we brought him home and I was starting to finally feel a connection. And a lot was going on internally about I can't do this. I'm overwhelmed and all this stuff. And I didn't talk about it. I didn't talk about it one bit. Everyone was like, you're doing so good. Like, you're incredible. Like, how are you still smiling? Like, that's because that's me. Like, right? That's who I am is I smile. But I was hiding. I was hiding so much of the fear and the overwhelm. And in this time, I had no idea postpartum depression was like happening, which is a chemical imbalance. I want you, don't, if anyone's going through that or has been through it, it is not just a mindset thing. Mindset has a lot to do with it. And the way you treat your body creates those chemicals that can cause the postpartum depression. But I had chemical stuff going on and I didn't realize it. I just thought, you're not strong enough. Like, get your shit together, figure it out. I'm mean to myself. That's how I've always been. So December 30th of 2018 was Harrison's baptism. It was a literal shit show. He he had a blowout in his white onesie, like fancy tie, all that in the middle of church. I had to figure out how to change him, how to not get the poop all over father. Like, it was literally a shit show. It was a mess. And then all our family came to our house, and like, my house was spotless. I prepared food. I had the crying baby. Like, I looked like super mom. And that night, everyone left, and I sat down with Harrison and I was rocking. Nate was like, "What is going on?" And I just started bawling. And he's like, "Kelsey, what's wrong? Like, we've had such a good day. Like, you've handled it so well." And I'm like, "I don't want this." And he's like, "What do you mean?" Like, "I don't want this. I don't want to be a mom." He's like, "Well, you are. So, like, you don't have a choice." And I'm like, "No." I said, "It's either me or Harrison." I said, "You can bring him somewhere or I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm out." And he's like, "What are you saying?" And I'm like, "I'm done. Like, I'm not being a mom anymore." And he was like, "Well, what are you thinking about?" And like, I finally was honest. I finally was honest with the thoughts going on in my head. And I wanted to hurt me. I wanted to hurt Harrison, and he didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Like, there was literal crazy shit going on. And my friend, bless her heart, like, she had a baby 4 months before me, so she kind of knew what was going on. And she had told me she was in this stupid boot camp with Deidre and Kyra. And I'm like, whatever. And she made it through, though. She made it through those 4 months. And I was like, okay, we're at month 2. Because December 30th, Harrison turned 2 months. I'm like, I'm only 2 months in. If this boot camp lasts 6 weeks, if I can get through this boot camp, I might be able to be where she is, because she was, just like I said, a few months ahead of me on the baby term. So I tried. I signed up December 31st, and she told me what I had to do. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, I'm like, I don't need personal development. There's nothing wrong with me. Like, I needed it the most out of anybody in the whole world at this point. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And she's like, in the workouts, like, you can try one. I literally died the first 20 minutes I did it. I had to modify every move. I didn't have a step, and it was horrible. I was eating like shit. Like, it was the worst experience of my life. And then we got plugged into this point system. So if you know me, I am a helper on the Enneagram scale. That means I show up for other people. So when I got put on a team, I was like, well, fuck. Like, I have to. So I did. I did all the things with intention every single day. And 2 weeks in, I got my first sticker for Transform 20. And I have never felt more proud in my entire life. I stuck with it, and I kept going because we were on this team, right? And I couldn't quit. Like, I had to get our points for the day. So I kept going. And it wasn't even a month into this group, and everything changed. My mindset was changing. I fell in love with Harrison. I was able to play with him and not want to leave and not be a mom anymore. Like, my whole entire life changed in those 4 weeks. And then by week 6, whenever I got that last sticker and I completed my first program, start to finish, I didn't want to, but I did it. I had never felt more proud. Not when I went to pharmacy school, not when I graduated, not when I got married, not when I pushed out that baby. I did something that was completely me. It was only me showing up every single day. And I have goosebumps talking about it now, because it's like, what can one program do for you? And I know it's not the workouts. I know it's not the nutrition. It's not any of it. But when you put it all together and you make your why behind it bigger, it's going to mean something. It's going to mean something huge. And that's when I started coaching. I messaged Kenzie and I was like, hey, tell me about this coaching thing, because this shit works. This works. Like, I have to share it with someone because I never wanted someone to go through what I did and felt like they were alone and that they didn't have anywhere to turn. Because luckily, by the grace of God, I had that 5-second clarity thought to tell someone that I didn't want to be here anymore. And luckily, my husband, he got help. I didn't ask for help. I said those 5 seconds of words. He's the one who called my mom. He's the one who got on the phone to get me counseling appointments. He's the one who scheduled the doctor's appointment to get me put on medication. I never would have did it. It was him. And people aren't that lucky. People aren't that lucky. And it's your job. I think even if you're not actively coaching, if you are, I'm going to say, just doing these programs, it is your job to show up for yourself. You have got to do that every single day because you are literally changing families by doing so. You start within your home, and that impact goes to your child. That impact goes to your spouse or your boyfriend or your coworkers. And if they can get that belief, that little speck of belief when they want to quit, that's worth it. That is worth showing up for. So that is how I got started and everything. And what I wanted to talk about with the crappy days, right? Because like I still have them, and I know we all have them. Like I didn't work out today because I hurt my back. I stretched, but I'm like, I didn't even want to do personal development today. And again, it's the days that you actually need it, you don't want to do it, which is so silly, right? But what really helps me, I got a cheap, cute notebook from Target. I write down in it every single day 5 things from the day before that brought me joy, and not like the sun was shining. Like that's a great one, but something that like is different and specific from each and every day. Because it makes me smile again. So even when I'm in a shitty mood, I can think about that. Like when Harrison always says happy Tuesday, like when he says that, or when he'll say I need a margarita, which I do quite often. Or like just tiny little things like my husband doing the dishes, or like us sitting down together and making pancakes, and I don't know, little tiny things like that. It brings a smile to my face. So even when I'm in a bad mood, it'll make me happy. And then I have to look for him today. So like, right, I know I'm going to write in here tomorrow. So it makes me think about 5 things today. Like what 5 things happened on this god awful crazy effing day? Like I had to figure it out. So it made me start looking for it. And then I changed this up a little bit lately. So I always wrote down dreams. So if you follow Rachel Hollis and you know, like she writes down 10 dreams like they've already happened. So I was writing down very like goal oriented things about where I wanted my life to be. This year, I am writing who I want to be instead of what I want in my life. So my word for this year is intentional. And I'm intentionally showing up each day to be the best version of myself. So for me, I'm just going to read you what I write down. And again, you don't have to do anything like I do, but this has helped me tremendously in the last, well, since January 1st, honestly. It's helped me a lot be more focused on who I am compared to the outcome. Because again, if you're not coaching, then you maybe like outcomes and numbers aren't on your radar. But for me, I know I really get in my head whenever I think more people should be signing up, or I should have more sales, or my challengers should be doing better. Like I really take it personally into heart. And this has helped me kind of flip that around. So this is what I write down. I am deeply loved by God. I am an exceptional mom. I have a fun, thriving marriage. I am intentional. I choose me every single day. I use my platform to share God's word. I am a light for those that surround me. I have a hobby that brings me joy. And then I write down, we travel 4 times a year and we are debt free. So there are a couple goals on there that are, detail oriented, but the best version of me isn't drowning in debt. The best version of me is able to actively give to charities and church. And I can't do that if I'm in debt. So it kind of ties together, but for me, that has really helped with making that forefront of priority for me. Like, who do I want to be? And then this part, I completely switched up. I write down my why every single day. So I used to just go through the motions of my grateful journal. I would take a cute picture for Instagram, share it, say, what brought you joy today? And then I actually was still in a shitty mood afterwards. And I'm like, like this isn't working anymore. Why is it not working? Because I was so used to doing it. Like I wasn't even thinking about it. So write down your why. And I know it's going to pull at your heartstrings a little, and it's supposed to, because again, you're not going to show up to lose 5 pounds. You would have did that. You would have did that 2 weeks ago. And if I would be showing up now for weight loss still, I would have quit not this past July, the July before. Like I've lost 30 pounds on this journey, but it was in the first 7 months. Like if I showed up for weight loss now, it wouldn't happen. It doesn't happen anymore. Like I am who I am. I'm probably not going to ever weigh differently unless something dramatic happens in my life. So you have to make it more than that because you're not going to show up otherwise. So for me, Harrison 100% is my why. And I write down, just like, I don't write down the big part of it, but just the little. I write down, Harry deserves a patient and present mommy. He deserves a mommy who loves herself, who shows up for herself, and he deserves to learn not to live in a box. So this is a huge one for me. I grew up following the rules. I am a rule follower. And this past year, I've kind of broken some of those rules, and it feels liberating. It feels free, and in a good way. Like not the rules, like obviously there's some rules we need to follow. Like don't go be, little hooligans or anything. Like you got to follow some rules. But I don't want someone to tell him like, oh, you're really good at math and science. You should be in the medical field one day. And him just to go with it and listen with it. Oh, you need to you need to go to graduate school, get a master's degree because someone told him. I want him to choose. I want him to pick what he gets to do. I want him to see his mom change her mind and not feel guilty about it. And that's what I'm working toward right now, is really giving myself grace and forgiveness for the person I was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because I needed her to be me now. I needed to go through all that to be me. And I just write down also that he deserves to live a happy and healthy life, because while my parents still love me, they love me unconditionally. We were a very codependent family, and codependency runs strong all the years, and I'm breaking it. I don't know how Harrison's going to turn out, but I know he's not going to be codependent. He's not going to look in the mirror and talk bad to himself. He's not going to think he's not worthy of anything. He's going to believe, and he's going to be able to talk about his feelings and share that. And that's important to me. And if I wouldn't show up every day for that, he wouldn't be that. He could never be like that. And so on days when I'm like, I actually don't want to do this. I really don't want to work out. I really don't want to keep eating good. I really don't want to do my personal development. That's what I look at. That why. Because like I said in the beginning, I don't show up for me. I show up for everyone else. And when you make those everyone else someone who matters to you, someone who's important to you, your whole life's going to change. So that's really all I have. I don't know if anyone has any takeaways or questions. I'd be happy to answer. I had not looked at the chats either, so sorry. Let me go do that.
I don't know that I can say anything without bawling.
Oh, I did good. I'm surprised. I really tried not to I had to be able to talk about it.
I'm going to try to get words out of my mouth without tears coming with them. You exactly embody the reason why I asked you to do this. Oh my gosh, why am I crying so much? And I knew some of your story, but I didn't know all of your story. And I just want to tell you, keep telling your story. Keep telling your story. a very dear friend tell me that once. Oh my gosh, sorry. Um, Someone really, really close to me tell me that once. Don't ever stop telling your story. And by you telling your story today, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
By you telling your story today, you're allowing other people to be brave enough to tell their story too. Oh my gosh, you hit on so many things for me, and it was just, I didn't honestly, I don't know what I went through after kids because I don't remember a lot of that. And I think it was just a response that I had to just surviving. Oh, because I didn't have tools and I didn't have anybody to tell me any different. And I completely felt like a failure all of the time whenever I had babies at home. And this is what saved my life, because whenever you said you finally did something for yourself, that was the first thing I ever did for me. Oh my gosh. Just don't stop. Don't stop telling your story. Don't stop. Don't. Your voice, Kelsey, I don't know if you understand. Your voice and the way you speak is really, truly your superpower. And
thank you.
I want you to know that. Just in case you didn't know that, I want you to know that. But
I appreciate
anyway,
that.
Bald. Anybody else?
I was just gonna say, Kelsey, I haven't known you very long, and I don't like really actually know you, but just through like Zoom and just through like social media, I can tell how much you've grown just since I joined last March, and I think it's just so cool to watch.
Thank you.
Did you asleep?
Does anybody else have anything for Kelsey before we let her go? I know that she has little Harrison in the bedroom. That's probably like, why did mom put me to bed early?
I think he's sleeping, so he's just gonna stay there. We're gonna call him
Like,
in. He'll be up at 6 a.m. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't. Deidre always has the best questions to ask here. Natalie, do you have anything? So I think she pretty much touched on everything.
I probably have something if I could think past the holy shit your story part, because yours beginning is how I started too with the I liked Dean when I had him, but it took me 2 weeks to finally break down to my husband. And his mom came and stayed with us for 2 weeks because I was at that walking out point. So that hit me a little bit. I really like your journal in the morning. When we get off of here, could you please post that in underneath the empowerment, like the post that I made about tonight? Does that make sense? Just put out kind of what you do or take a picture of it or something like that so everybody else can see kind of
absolutely
what you do. Because I think a lot of people have hit that point where the 5 grateful things and the 5 affirmations have kind of it's becoming more of a monotony, more of a habit, more than actually sitting here thinking about what we're actually grateful for. And I like that a lot. So, because I kind of feel that's how my day was this morning. So I don't really have any questions. Sorry.
What's your favorite personal development? What is the thing that grabbed your attention the most or made the biggest change for you along this journey? And I mean, it could be in different areas of your journey because I think everything kind of hits us differently and at different times in different ways. But what can you suggest to maybe somebody that's looking for personal development and they really just need something that's going to grab their heart?
So the first book I started with was Girl Wash Your Face. That really hit me because she talked a lot about the things with motherhood I was going through. And like it's really hard and you cry a lot and it's okay. And like I remember listening to it on my way to work and just bawling, like feeling like I'm not a failure, I'm not alone. And it gave me just that ounce of courage to just keep going, to just keep trying. So that was definitely my first book. There's so many I've read. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. That one really gave me power. Like if you want empowerment, I highly recommend that one in any part of your journey. If you're feeling stuck at all, that really helped me say I didn't want to be a pharmacist anymore, which is probably one of the scariest things I'm still working through actively, admitting that I don't want to be a pharmacist because that looks really, really good, right? Like, why would you not want to be a pharmacist? You make a shit ton of money and you have a doctorate degree, like, because I actually don't like it. And it's okay that you don't have to do things you don't like. What else? I recently started doing a lot more Christian books. Those have helped me in becoming the best version of me, I think, compared to more of the goal-oriented person I have been, because I get in a habit of trying to do a lot for love, and I don't want it to be like that. I know I'm loved just because I'm me. And that's why I write down I am deeply loved by God every day to remind me I don't have to do anything or be anything different than just Kelsey. So I started reading a lot of those. The Best Yes is probably one of my favorites. It's by Lisa Tekuris. I don't know how you say your last name. But that was great for decision making and for just choosing things that truthfully will bless you every single day. So those would probably be my top 3 that I've been through on this journey so far.
Are there any specific like devotionals or anything like a daily read that you like to do?
So I've been doing this one right now. It's Unshakable by Christine Kane. It's a daily one. I like it a lot. And then 100 Days to Brave was the first one I started with. That one I really liked too. I like the little assignments at the end, at the bottom. I didn't do them my first time, whenever I did it. And I think the second time I went through, I actually did it when I did MM100 in the summer. And that was super helpful because I think a lot, again, with any sort of personal development, we get in the habit of it and we might be reading it, we might be listening to it and doing laundry and all the things.
Mhm.
But if you don't apply it,
Mhm.
it actually doesn't do anything. Like,
Mhm.
it's the same thing as trying to just like listen to your arithmetic or calculus book and like taking the test the next day and having no freaking idea what you're doing. Like,
That
it's
I
the
have
same
never
thing.
heard that before. Holy mind blown. You know when you hear something and it's somebody else and then it was put in a certain way and it's just like clicks? You know, sometimes it just like ticks you off a little bit. And it's like, why didn't it click till now?
I'm
What
glad I can put you through all the fields today.
bitch? I got in here, truth be told, got in here tired. I'm just worn out. Quarantine has taken its toll on me. And I'm almost done, friends. I'm almost out. I'm almost like to be able to hug people again. I can go to the store and stuff, but it's just I want to see other people that I don't have in this town. But I came in here tired and not really wanting to do this and remembering that I took my husband to work tonight. I have to go pick him up at 10. Now I can't just go to bed early. And I'm like, we gotta pump this shit up. We gotta like do some music or something. And then Kelsey, you just make me cry and then you just blow my mind. So I'm like, what just happened? This is why I asked you here. This is why I asked you to do this. Whenever I heard we need a speaker, and I'm like, Kelsey's it. Because just yeah, you did amazing.
Thank you.
The way you speak, how it's just different. And I think if we can all really embrace our uniqueness and how different we all are, I think that we can really make everything better. We can make the whole world better. And I think that if we could just embrace more of that, and you would, something about whenever you talk, it inspires me to be better. Just know that. Just know that. Don't stop sharing your story. And thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your story with us. And thank you for inspiring other women too. Like, this team would not be the same without you. This world wouldn't be the same without your word. So you are living your purpose just the way you need to. So does anybody else have anything? All right. Well, if no one else has anything, I'm going to let Kelsey go. I'm going to stop recording, and we are going to let her get back to her evening and salvage what she has left, and just keep on being you, sister. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys.